On this Andy's Auto Sports Short, we're going to talk about hood pins, and then we're going to show you how to install them on our Project Integra. Hood pins are a great way to secondarily secure your factory OEM hood, and when it comes to aftermarket hoods, sometimes it's the only way you can latch them. Now you can install hood pins on any hood, including your OEM hood. However, if you install an aftermarket or lightweight hood on your vehicle like we have on our Project Integra, you want to make sure you use hood pins. In fact, most manufacturers will void their warranty if you don't use a secondary way to latch them. After all, the last thing that you want driving down the road or at the racetrack is the hood to fly up in your face. Now, most aftermarket fiberglass or carbon fiber hoods, like our one from Sabon that we're putting on our Integra, do actually have the factory latch or a provision to put the latch in the hood. Now, but that's still no guarantee that it's not going to fly up in your face. You have to remember, when the factory does it, it's a steel skeleton and a steel hood with a steel latch bolted through it. On our Sabon hood and on other hoods, what happens is they basically bond a piece of steel to this fiberglass. Over time, that can become a little bit weak and tenuous, and that hood can come up. So a secondary aftermarket set of hood pins is definitely the way you need to go when you go with an aftermarket hood. Now, when it comes to hood pins, there's different styles, designs, and even colors. For example, these from AeroCatch, they're designed to be a flush mount style hood pin, and what it does is they actually come in different colors, even carbon fiber. And how they work is, basically, it has this latch. This actually mounts to the core support, goes inside of here, and then this is mounting to the hood. Then when you're ready, you just clamp that down, and that gives you good support for your hood pin. Now, on what we're going to install on our Project Integra are this old school style. Now, this is basically just a pin. This is a very inexpensive, but they do a great job. Basically, the exact same thing goes on here. This mounts to your core support, then this mounts to the hood, and when you close the hood, just a little bit of that comes through. You slide your pin through, latch it. Now, both these will do a great job for you depending on which style you choose, but they're both designed to do the exact same thing, give you a good secondary way to latch your hood. Now let's go install our hood pins on our Sabon hood on our Project Integra. Okay, now the first step in installing our hood pins is actually finding our anchor point for the actual pins themselves. Now, fortunately on our Integra, I have a couple of holes that are symmetrically already drilled from the factory in the core support, and these are actually going to work perfectly. Now, if you have to drill holes in your core support, what you want to do is always make sure you look behind the core support, because underneath this core support in some place are headlights. Sometimes you have coolant jugs or recovery jugs, or even possibly power steering reservoirs that you can actually drill into. You don't want to do that. So make sure you look underneath the core support where you're drilling so that you know exactly where you're going. Fortunately, like I said, we have these that are symmetrical. Always measure and make sure you put them in the same so that it looks good on your hood as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take one of our nuts here and put it on top of our stud. Going to wind that all the way up because we don't know what height we're going to want yet. Then we're going to put a washer on, put it through our hole that we already have, a washer and a nut on the bottom as well. Okay, now that we have our pins in place in our core support, we're going to go ahead and mark on our hood where we're going to drill our holes. We're just going to use a Sharpie marker. I know you're thinking it's a black Sharpie marker on a black hood. Believe it or not, it'll leave a little mark in there, and that'll let us know exactly where we need to drill the holes. Okay, we're going to set this down lightly on top of our pins. Then we're going to go ahead and mark with our Sharpie. And we have a good mark knowing exactly where we're going to need to drill our hole. All right, now that we have the pins in place and we have the holes marked, we're going to go ahead and set this back down, and we're going to prep for our drilling. And what we're going to do is we're basically just going to put some tape over about where we're going to drill, and this is going to keep the carbon fiber from kind of shattering up a little bit. Some people say you don't need to do it. I like to. It's just kind of an added insurance policy. And so what I do is I run 3 or 4 pieces of tape next to each other, run some like this. And I'm just using painter's tape. You pick this up at any hardware store. And go back and forth both ways just to kind of give it a little bit of extra grunt. Make sure we're over our hole. We are. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and drill our hole. Now I'm using a 1/4 to 3/4 unibit. You can buy that at the link below. Okay, now that we've got the hole started from the bottom and I have a relatively small hole in there, I'm going to drill from the top. This is going to make it a little bit easier and keep us from fraying our carbon fiber. Okay, now that we have our hood pins already in place, we've drilled our holes, now we're going to put our covers over. Now, because the hood actually comes up like this and the hood pins go straight and it's got a little curve to it, you want to make sure that you cheat this all the way one side or the other to make sure that the pins will slide out of the way so you can actually be able to open your hood. So what we've done is we've got it lined up exactly the way we want. Without taking off the tape, we're going to go ahead and drill our holes for our pop rivets. Now that should have us in place there. Now we can take these out of the way and go ahead and pull off our tape. Yep. Make sure our pop rivets go in there just like they're supposed to. All right, now we're going to go ahead and take our pop rivets, put those in place. If you don't have a pop rivet gun, don't worry. We sell them right here at Andy's Auto Sport. You can actually go to the tools section, and they're made by DORMAN. Just pop this in place. As you can see, it's a relatively easy task to install a set of hood pins like these from Extreme Dimension on our Project Integra once you get over the fear of drilling through your aftermarket hood. Now there's a couple things to remember. Always measure twice and cut once, and it's a good idea to wear a face mask when you're drilling through the carbon fiber or fiberglass hood to keep from inhaling that dust. Popular brands we carry are Sparco, Hotchkiss, AeroCatch, Unlimited, and Extreme Dimensions. To see what we have available for your vehicle, check out the link below. And don't forget, once you've finished your ride, make sure you send us pictures to customer.rides@andysautosport.com. If you have any questions, feel free to call one of our knowledgeable sales staff at 1-800-419-1152 or email us at info@andysautosport.com. We hope you've learned something today, and we'll see you on another Andy's Auto Sport Short.